Hare Krishna, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We continue reading from Caitanya Caritamrita. We are on Adi-Lila, chapter 7, text 117. Jiva Tattva Shakti, Krishna Tattva Shaktiman, Gita Vishnu Puranade Tahate Praman. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The living entities are energies, not the energetic. The energetic is Krishna. This is very vividly described in the Bhagavad Gita, the Vishnu Puran, and other Vedic literatures. So, who are we? The soul. What is the soul? We are the energy of Krishna. We are the energy of God, marginal energy of God. We are not God. God is Shaktiman. He's the Purush. We are the Prakriti. And it is clearly mentioned in all Vedic scriptures. As already explained, there are three prasthanas on the path of advancement in spiritual knowledge, namely Nyaya Prasthan, Vedanta philosophy, Shruti Prasthan, the Upanishads and Vedic mantras, and Smriti Prasthan, the Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Puranas, etc. So Prasthan, the three Prasthan means the three ways by which we can get spiritual knowledge. One is logic. Logic is called Nyaya Prasthan, which is presented in the Vedanta Sutra through logic. Then there is Shruti Prasthan, hearing. Hearing, Shruti means hearing. Hearing from where? From the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Vedic mantras, and Smriti Prasthan, the remembrances. So scriptures like Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, they are the remembrance. So they are called Smriti. The Puranas also is called Smriti. Unfortunately. So these are the three ways that we can get Vedic knowledge, spiritual knowledge. And the most perfect is when we hear from the authorities, from the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. That is the perfect Shruti. By hearing, we can get complete spiritual knowledge. So why is that? Because if we depend on ourselves to get spiritual knowledge, then because we have the four defects that our senses are imperfect. We can't even see properly, we can't hear properly, and then we make mistakes. So then that's why it's said to err is human. And then we have the propensity to cheat. We have this propensity to cheat, and we are in illusion. We are thinking we are the body. So in this condition, we are unable to properly properly get spiritual knowledge just based on our own body. That's why we need to hear spiritual knowledge from one who has the spiritual knowledge. So hearing in the parampara. Mayavadi philosophers do not accept the Smriti Prashthan. Smriti refers to the conclusions drawn from the Vedic evidence. Sometimes Mayavadi philosophers do not accept the authority of Bhagavad Gita and the Puranas, and this is called Ardha Kokoti Nyaya, the logic of a half hen. So, there are certain class of people who say, no, we just believe in Shruti, the Vedas, the four Vedas, the Upanishads, because those were the ones that were directly spoken by the Lord. But we don't believe in Smriti, which is Bhagavad Gita. And so this is called Ardha Kukuti Nyaya, the logic of half a hen. What is half hen logic? That, oh, I like the mouth, I like the back part of the hen because the back part of the hen gives me eggs. But I don't like the front part of the hen, which is the mouth, because I have to feed it. So you know what? Let me do something. Let me cut off the head of the hen so I don't have to deal with it. And I can just get the back of the hen and I will sit and enjoy with the eggs that I receive. But when we do that, then we have no hen at all. So when we reject Smriti and accept only Shruti, it is like this. Ardha Kukriti Nyaya. We have no proper knowledge then. We have to accept everything. Because like, for example, even with Bhagavad Gita, someone says, no, I like only this verse of the Bhagavad Gita and not the other one. That's not the way to receive Bhagavad Gita. All 700 verses have to be accepted. Otherwise, we have no Bhagavad Gita at all. So if one believes in the Vedic literatures, one must accept all the Vedic literatures recognized by the great acharyas. But the Mayavadi philosophers accept only the Nyaya Prashthan and the Shruti Prashthan, rejecting the Smriti Prashthan. Here, however, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cites evidence from the Gita, Vishnu Puran, etc., which are Smriti Prashthan. No one can avoid the personality of Godhead in the statements of the Bhagavad Gita and the other Vedic literatures, such as the Mahabharata and the Puranas. Lord Chaitanya therefore quotes a passage from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 5. So once we study Bhagavad Gita, there is no way we can deny the existence of God. Clearly on each and every page, Lord Krishna is saying, I am God. All the great authorities, Vyasadeva, Narada, Sita, Devala, all accept him as the Supreme Lord. All the Vedas accept him as the Supreme Lord. All the Vedic hymns are for his glorification. So if we really properly understand the Bhagavad Gita, we will understand the position of the Supreme Lord. So then, this is a little longer. Yes. This we'll read how much ever we can read. Apareyam itasva anyam prakritam vidime param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharayate jagat. This verse is from Bhagavad Gita, and Lord Chaitanya is quoting this verse to the Mayavadi sannyasis. They are asking him to give them knowledge. So he's speaking this verse from Bhagavad Gita. Besides these inferior energies, O mighty Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. So Krishna is speaking to Arjuna about us, the living entities, the souls. And he's saying that we are the superior energy of Krishna. We are his internal energy. And what are we trying to do? We are trying to exploit the resources of this material energy. Material energy is actually inferior to us. Why is material energy inferior to us? Because the elements of the material energy are not conscious. Earth, water, air, fire, ether, all these are dead material elements. But we, the living entities, are conscious. That's why we are called the superior energy. But what are we trying to do? We are trying to pretend that we are God. We are trying to imitate that we are God. And in that, we are trying to control this material energy. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is explained that the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, constitute the gross energy of the Absolute Truth. And there are also 3 subtle energies, namely the mind, intelligence, and false ego, or identification with the phenomenal world. So false ego, what is the false ego? that we think we are the body. We forget that we are eternal parts and parcels of God. True ego, correct ego, is when we can understand, I am an eternal part and parcel of God. I have a loving relationship with God. That is true ego. So thus the entire cosmic manifestation is divided into 8 energies, all of which are inferior. So because they are not conscious, that's why they are inferior. We may say, oh, what about mind, intelligence, false ego? We give so much importance to our minds, intelligence, false ego. But yet, if we compare to the soul, it's the soul who's the person, the soul who's the individual, it's the soul who's conscious, not these material elements. The material elements are all unconscious. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, Mama Maya Daratyaya. The inferior energy known as Maya is so strong that although the living entity does not belong to this energy, due to the superior strength of the inferior energy, the living entity, Jiva Bhuta, forgets his real position and identifies with it. So although we are superior to Maya, we are superior to the material energy, but because our size is so small, we are tiny sparks. So like if a spark of fire falls on wet grass, then the fiery quality of the spark goes away. So similarly, because we are in this material atmosphere, and because our size is so small, we get captured by Maya. And then we forget our real position. We forget our true identity as part and parcel of God. And what we start thinking is that I am this body. We start thinking that this individual that I am is this body. Krishna says distinctly that beyond the material energy, there's a superior energy, which is known as the Jiva Bhuta, or living entities. So in this verse, Krishna is saying there are material energy that is inferior, that is this material world, and the superior energy, which are the souls, the eternal living entities. When in contact with the material energy, this superior energy conducts all the activities of the entire material phenomenal world. So although we are superior to material nature, because of our size being so tiny, we get captured by her, we get covered by her. And we completely forget our true identity, and we start behaving and acting as if we are the body. This is material life. So we'll stop here for today and we'll continue with the purport tomorrow because it's still a bit longer. So if there are no comments or questions, we'll stop here for today. Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for listening and enjoying. Hari Bol.